Morning, Saturday morning. Big Rich here, live on the mic, the radio show on YouTube. Third installment, getting a little better, feeling a little bit better, feeling everything out. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Appreciate the likes and the views from the others. Slowly but surely, we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up. It is what it is. Rome wasn't built in a day, so we're not discouraged or anything like that. We're going to keep pushing and keep moving on because we got things to say. We got information to provide. We have a mission in life. We have an obligation in life. So, hey, we'll keep doing it until this world changes or, we can't do it no more. So today, I gave a little bit a hint on Wednesday shows when we started talking about the rape conviction uh, of the ex Stanford swimmer. So we're not going to really rehash that. Today's show, we're going to talk about victims. We're going to talk about true victims. We're going to talk about how not to be a victim. We're going to try to open your minds, open your soul, open your hearts to realize that 90 to 95% of the crappy stuff that happens to us, we can stop and don't really even have to change most in your life. You don't have to stop going here or stop going there or stop hanging out this time of night or stop doing this particular activity. You can actually continue to do what you want to do, continue to wear what you want to wear, continue to have fun the way you want to have fun. But you got to have a plan. And after all of that is said and done, before you start out, you have a plan to not be a victim. Like I said on Wednesday's show, there's only two, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, but stats approve it. You look it up and you'll see. Stats will show that I'm 100% correct. But there's only two types of victims, two types of true victims: the elderly and the young. Okay? Something happens to a child, something happened to a toddler, something happened to a preteen, a child, you know. 9 out of 10 times they didn't put themselves in that position to be a victim. Usually it is because somebody else was slipping, usually an adult slipping, and allowed them to become a victim. The elderly, usually they don't put themselves in the position to be a victim. Either they trust somebody, they have to depend on someone, or somebody has gained their trust because hey, when you are elderly, when you're up in age, you know, you tend to not want to be alone. You tend to sometimes drop your guard a little bit. And that's not your fault. That's just part of life. You know, we're born, we live, we die. But other than that, 90 to 95% of the time, we have done something to put ourselves in a position of being a victim, a quote unquote victim. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about ways that we can um, continue to do what we want to do and just be cognizant of what's going on, around us. Know your routes of escape. Know who is in your crew. Know what's going on with everybody. And not one person in the group can do it. Everybody got to kick in. Everybody got to do their part. But if you do that, you go together, you party together, you have fun together, you leave together, you get home together. Now, that's why I never said 99%. I never said 100% of the time. There's always things that could go wrong. You could be in a car, nobody is drunk at all. Nobody had not one taste of alcohol. Y'all just have fun and get T-boned by somebody who is drunk. You follow what I'm saying? So when we talk about this, is definitely not anything that's absolute. Nothing in life is absolute except death. Some people try to say death and taxes, but some people don't pay no taxes. And if you don't work, you ain't got to pay no taxes. But you're gonna die. So death is the only absolute in this world. So when we talking about victims and we talk about how you protect yourself, does that mean that you got to be leery? You got to walk around with eyes but on the back of your head. You have to not have fun or be a stick in the mud. No, that doesn't mean that at all. But if I know I'm gonna go out and act a fool, if I know me and the fellas is going out and we're gonna go act a fool, somebody got to kick in and say, hey, okay, cool, I'm gonna drink, but so much, or I'm not gonna drink today. Y'all go ahead on and get liquored up. Me, I have a natural high, and I know it's not normal. It's not the norm, but I have a natural high. I don't need to drink. Never done drugs in my life, ever, ever. But I've drunk. But I don't need to drink to have fun. I can clown and not have a liquor alcohol. So it don't make a difference to me. But when you come in and you say, okay, I'm going X, Y, Z, and I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's at a grocery store. You make sure that you are well aware of what's going on around you. That doesn't mean that you have to have your head on a swivel or anything like that. But you go, okay, I got a car. All right. I have a car, brand new. I don't want nobody to mess with it. I don't want, the doors to bump in my car. So I park my car all the way to the other end, so far away from the front door that really nobody can see anything. That may or may not be a problem. I tell you one thing: the problem that you might run uh, in by parking it all the way over there, you won't have that problem if you parked it closer. You just won't. You know, not 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, fool ain't gonna roll up on you in front of a store. Yes, there are people who do that. That's why it's 95%. But there are people that'll run up on you. They just crazy, you know. But it's few and far between them. People want to sit out there and bust somebody upside the head in the parking lot. They gonna look, okay, there's a group of people here parked close. Oh, there's one fool all the way down at the end. Let me go knock him upside, or let me go knock her upside the head. Also when you're thinking about, I'm going out. Okay, I'm going out. Let's just say we're not even going to the club. Let's just say we're going to the movies. Okay, I'm going to a midnight showing. Don't go to a midnight showing by yourself. Or if you're gonna go to a midnight showing, park as close to the front as you can. Try not to do things late at night by yourself. So you have a buddy. Now people might say, well, Rich, I'm single. I'm alone. I do my things. Yeah, well, that's fine. Well, there's certain things that you could do also. In that case, if you're gonna go late, make sure you park and make sure you come early enough that you can get a nice park. Or better yet, I tell people valet. If it's a valet spot anywhere, I mean, they got valet spots and they got valet spots in some of the movie theaters. They got valet spots most good restaurants. They got valet spots in most of the clubs that are good, you know. And even if you can't, if you have to go to the club, excuse me, if you got to go to the club and you don't have anything that you can valet of any spot that you valet, well, you got the Johnny Cabs, that type of stuff right there. Don't be by yourself. If at all possible, just don't be by yourself. And some people might say, well, you're just talking to women. No, I'm talking to men too. I'm talking to men too. I'm talking, believe it or not, there's men victims out there getting knocked upside the head, getting their wallets taken, that type of stuff. Like I said on Wednesday, you come out the club, you by yourself, you drunk as heck. You don't know how you gonna get home. But instead of your silly behind, leave your car parked downtown or wherever it is and take a cab, you gonna be like, nah, I got you. So meanwhile, you just struggling to get to your car. You ain't even cranked up. You ain't even got into your car to crank it up yet. You still stumbling to get there. Now it's 3 o'clock. The club lets out. I can't even remember. Now, the club lets out about 2:30. You want to sit around, try to do what they call parking lot pimping. So it's like 3:10, 3:05, 3:10 before you start walking to your car. Because you done tried every woman try to get them to go home with you or at least go to Waffle House, something like that. Okay, so now you got to try to navigate your way, stumbling, falling, if you're real bad off, throwing up, or shoot, you get happy, you're singing, all of that type of stuff right there. You are going to be what they call a victim. And then you have to sit back and ask yourself this: what have I done? What could I have done to make sure that didn't happen? Well, let's break it down. Maybe not get that drunk. Okay, maybe you wanted to get drunk. Why don't you have a friend that can walk with you? Most of us got friends. You know, most of us got friends that'll be like, hey, cool, let's ride. I got about 4 or 5 family members that I call. That we're not related in blood, but we related in spirit. Bonds over decades. If I want to go to the club, I want to go somewhere. It depends on where I'm going. It's if I'm going to ask different people. If I'm going to Corona to smoke a cigar, which I don't smoke anymore, but I know I call these two brothers. If I'm going hunting, which I don't hunt no more, I call these brothers, or we just gonna hang all out. So I don't do a whole lot of stuff by myself, and I'm a pretty big guy. Okay, so it's not a fear, but it's just hey, I'm trying not to be a victim because see nowadays, see when I was growing up, and I said this on Wednesday also, I got I got my box. My mom had bought me this box. And I knew I shouldn't have took my box out of the house. Not only did I take my box out the house, I took it to a park. Like I'm gonna do something. And I saw these two clowns standing up. And every time I walked, I would look over my shoulder and see them. So I knew something was jumping. So I had put some distance between me and them, and I was like a block away from my crib. So instead of going to my house in relatively safety, I bent the corner to the left. I was trying to go to my girl house. I got about halfway down the block. These fools bum rushed me, took my box and hauled that. So again, I asked you, I asked anybody, listen to me. What could I have done better to not be a victim? One, I just said it, not take the box outside my house. Two, not take the box to the park. And three, take my behind straight home when I knew these fool was on my behind instead of bending the corner wanting to show off my brand new box to my girlfriend. And I know a lot of people sitting around here maybe laughing, smiling, nodding, and stuff like that. Yeah, man, something like that happened to me. But you look at it. Now I ain't want to hear that crap, you know, from my mom or anybody else saying the same thing that I said. But when you think about it and take a step back, and you be like, yeah, there was 3 times that I could have changed that behavior in order for me not to be a victim. Second time, now I've only gotten robbed twice. We got house broken into a couple of times. New York was rough. But I had, and it's the wild thing, I had got me, this is when the sheepskins was big time. It's back in the 80s. I'm dating myself. 48. I'm dating myself. So my mom had scrimped and scraped and saved and bought me this awesome brown and tan sheepskin coat. Okay, so we had went to the club, right? And actually, this wasn't even a robbery. But anyway, we'll talk about it. And I gave, you know, me, my cousin, my sister, we had went. It was like this called the Stardust or Stardom, something like that. We went to this club, and I had the big coat. I didn't want to check the coat, right? So I'm holding on to the coat. So we wanted to go dance, and obviously this big coat was just too big. So I gave it to my sister. I told her to hold it. I went to um to dance. When I came back, my sister gone, the coat gone. This fool set the coat down, and then she went to dance. So when she sat the coat down and left it, somebody swooped in, took my coat, and left. Now let's analyze this situation. A, I should have valeted my coat. That's what's called, right? Valet. I think, yeah, you can valet your coat too. I should have valeted my coat. Okay. Second, I shouldn't have gave my sister the coat. If I didn't want to valet the coat, then I should have sat my butt there and held on to my coat. And then thirdly, if I was going to be cheap and not valet my coat and trust my sister who's 3 years younger than I am, I should have made sure that she knew under no circumstances to leave my coat anywhere. And if you want to dance, you need to come to the dance floor, tell me to hold my coat, and you dance with whoever you want to dance with. So again, I ain't want to hear that. I'm blaming it on my sister. It's not my sister's fault. There was 2 steps that I should have did prior to giving her the coat that would have alleviated me from being a victim. And I throw out all of these things because, I don't want to talk about other people. Because when you start talking about other people and other instances and stuff like that, then people start taking it personal. And it's not personal. It's just basically trying to get you to think. Just think and be like, you know what? Hey, if if I do this, that, and the third, this might happen. This might be the outcome. If you do something or decide to do something, let's back up. If you decide to do something and then while you sitting down, you be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And you could already see where it can go sideways. You don't need to do it unless you're throwing it up against the wall amongst a couple of people, and then y'all come up with a way. Oh well, nah, Rich, don't worry about it. I don't dance. I'm going to watch a coat, so you ain't got to worry about that. But see, people don't do that. People don't do that. They don't feel that they have to. They don't feel that they have to think things through. This in this day and age, you got to think things through. In almost everything that you do, you have to think things through. So that wasn't my sister's fault. That was my fault. I remember again. I've said it a million times since we've launched the radio channel. I'm from New York. I was born and raised. I was born in Harlem. I spent 3 years in Harlem, and then the rest of my time till I was 18, I lived in the Bronx, in the North Bronx, Co-op City, that area. Um, but then I left. I went into the military, and started having my own little paper and stuff like that. Now let me preface this by saying, you know, I grew up in a single parent household with a younger brother, younger sister, and my mom was everything. You know what I'm saying? She was mom, dad, brother, sister, pastor. She was everything. So we wanted for nothing. But there was things that we couldn't. It wasn't like a lavish lifestyle, that type of stuff. I have to say that because I don't want anybody to think that you know I had a bad childhood because I really did. But anyway, when I was in the military, I making my own paper and stuff. I ain't got no bills. I'm like 18, 19 and stuff like that. I started getting into the jewelry thing. So, got me a couple rings and a little neck piece and all that type of stuff. So, I think I'm Johnny Badass. So I go back to New York, and I just left New York a couple of 2, 3 years before that. Even though I was driving everywhere that I went, when where I was living. But I mean, shoot, I took the train or the bus. So my mom always had a car, but she worked. So if you need to get around, you had to take the bus. Transfer all that. So I decided to take the train from Baychester, and all my New York people in the Bronx, um, from Baychester to the 5 train from Baychester to 125th Street and Lenox Avenue. I was going to see my aunt, and she had at the time worked for what we call DCF, which is Department of Children and Family Services. So I sit on a train. Now again, New York, I got a leather coat on, 3 lane leather coat. I got me a couple 2, 3 rings. I got me a little neck piece. Now, it's not even dawning on me that I'm back in New York and I'm about to get on the train. Now, the one thing that anybody knows about the 5 train, I don't know if it's changed now. I have not ridden a train in about 30 years. So all my people in New York that are listening, they might say, "Dag, man, it's changed." But when I was there, what used to happen was you get on Baychester, and then it would have 5 stops before it went in from the South Bronx and then into the Manhattan, and it would be an express train. Every other train, I want to say, every other train came with like an express train. So once you got past one, I think it was Grand Concourse. I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself. Um, but from then on, it would be an express. It would miss all like Jackson Street. It would miss all of those Hun 20, 149th Street, 132nd Street, that type of stuff. I fall asleep. Now I'm in the car. It's on the express. I fall asleep. Why did I do that? I have no idea. I fell asleep. I woke up, and there's this fool sitting next to me to my left. And I see him looking at his hand next to my hand like he trying to figure out if my rings would look good on his hand. And I'm looking, I'm like, I'm having an out of body experience, like, what this motherfucker doing? I mean, what is he doing? Not really knowing, dude. They about to rob you. They sizing you up and they about to rob you. You done messed around and fell asleep. Everybody else had either went to another car or got off at the last local platform, and now you stuck. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't move. I'm just looking. I look over to my left. There's a guy sitting down there at the end, looking over there. I'm looking to my right. I can see in between the cars, and I can see there's a guy standing there. I'm like, okay, something going on. Something. I got to get up out of there because I didn't messed around and slipped and fell. Okay. And I mean slipped and fell into a situation that I shouldn't have had my behind in. So to make a long story short, we got to 125th Street. That was the first stop. I stood up. They stood up. I was like, dang. I walked towards the door open. I walked towards the door, but I didn't get off. I didn't get off. They standing there, ain't really seeing, but I see they making eye contact. Doors start closing. I jump out the train. Okay. Now I'm jumping out the train, and I'm actually walking to the platform. I mean, walking off of the platform and get to the booth so I can get up. Well, I turn around and these fools done jump because now the doors closed. They didn't get out the train. The doors closed. These fools are jumping onto the platform from between the 2 cars. So I know they trying to get me. So now it's a sprint. So I run, they run. It's like 3 of them. I get up on the street. Lenox Avenue. Anybody knows about 125th Street? It's like it was like 3 lanes on each side. Then you had a center median that you had to come across. I did that. Couldn't get to because at that time when I had crossed the median, I see all 3 of them on the street now. Now's a sprint. Okay. So there was a it was too far for me to get to my aunt's office. So I see this office building, and see right now you couldn't do this right now because I mess around and get shot doing this. But I ran into the office building, ran upstairs, and then jumped over the counter. And some chick was like, "What are you doing? You got to go." I was like, "Look, you call the police or whatever. I'm not leaving here because there's three clowns out there trying to get me." So anyway, long story short, they called the police. Police came. I told them what the deal was. They called my aunt. She came over and she laughed at me also when she was like, "Dude, you back in New York." So let's go back to again. Let's break this down. That was my fault. That wasn't their fault. That was my fault. Now some people might say, "Well, Dad, Rich, I should be able to wear whatever I want to wear." Well, then you suffer the consequences and repercussions of doing that. Maybe if you got a concealed weapons permit where you can shoot, but then again, do you want to end life? And I know, hey, I'm not talking for anybody, but do you want to lend somebody in somebody's life over them trying to rob you? I mean, I just don't see it. I'd rather not put myself in that position anyway. So what I should have did was, let's just think about it. What I should have did was A, never fell asleep in the car. B, I knew from when I was in New York before, you don't ever, especially if you not driving, if you ride in the train for any length of time, and you might have some money on you, you got some jewelry on you, something like that. You stay one or two cars. You stay in because the trains used to be 10 cars long. So you stay in the front car where the operator or the engineer is, or you stay in the fifth car is where the conductor is. Okay, they not gonna mess with you necessarily in those two cars. I'm at the end car, the second to the end car, which was a problem. First off, I totally forgot about that. And then why did I need to get on the train wearing my jewelry and my neck piece? Why? Was I trying to impress somebody on the train? I know I was trying to impress my aunt and all that type of stuff right there. I ain't gonna lie. Most times when we buy stuff like that, we looking to impress somebody. A lot of people, no, I get depressed. Bull crap. You buy a fresh pair of shoes, you buy a nice dress, you buy a bomber jacket, with a Yankee logo on it or anything like that, you flossing. And nothing is wrong with that. But who am I flossing to in the train? I got to realize these people out here, it's hard out here in these streets. So I put myself in that position. What could I have done better? A, not wear a long leather coat. Did I have another coat? I sure did. And even if I wanted to wear a leather coat, why did I have to have all my rings on? Just take them off, put them in my pocket before I got on the train. Neck piece, put it under your shirt. Who you flossing for? Who you flossing for? It's hard in them streets. People taking your life for much less. So those are instances where I put myself in a position to be a victim. Now, when you look at it like that, when I've explained everything to you, am I a victim? Was I a victim? Or did I put myself in those positions? Because if you think about everything that I said in both scenarios, everything that I said, if I had to change it, it wouldn't have made no difference. It wouldn't have made no big difference in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, well, okay, well, Rich is saying that maybe I should have took the bus, then the train, then switch trains, try to. No, I'm not saying that. Take the same route, just don't sit in the same car. Don't fall asleep. That type of stuff. If you're in a situation where you want to go out, I tell people this all the time. Women, women, I tell this all the time. Man, if you got a nice body, I think women are the beautifulest creatures on the face of this earth. If you got a body and you want to show it, go ahead. You want to wear a tight dress, be my guest. It's hey, people work hard for their bodies, either in the gym or they got the bread that they worked hard for the bread to get plastic surgery, liposuction, this, that, and the third. Do what you got to do, but you also got to realize, okay, I got to make sure I got my wits behind. I have my wits behind myself. I got a aunt. She loves or she loved going to the club, nightclub. You know, beautiful body. She was always in shape, and excuse me. And what she used to do, she take a train because she wasn't really trying to drive down in Midtown or Lower Manhattan, so she take the train. So what would she do? She would get on the train and she would have her shoes on, either sneakers or they call down here tennis shoes, or flats. And then she would have her pumps high, 4, 5, sometimes 6-inch heels in her purse. So if she had to move, plus it was a lot more comfortable, but if she had to move, she'd be comfortable enough to move. And if she got inebriated, she always went somewhere with girlfriends or her husband or her boyfriend or her male friend. She was like, what do I need to go somewhere by myself where I'm going to drink? Unless you are unless you're a karate expert that can do the Jean Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal stuff that we know ain't true, or you willing to take somebody's life, you got to make sure that you're in a position that I got a plan. I used to listen up because, again, I have a younger brother and sister, but I was like the youngest man before my cousin was born. You know, my mom had 4 sisters. And like I said, my dad really wasn't in my life. So a lot of my childhood, it was my mom, her 4 sisters, and my cousin, who's a year older than me, who was always down. One of my cousins, she just it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was just she's still it. You know. So I used to listen to them. They used to have a game plan before they left. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. It's funny. I called it a game plan, or excuse me, they called it a game plan when I was young, but now they call it pre-game. You don't want to go spend all that money on that liquor at the club or something like that. So you pregame. You have a little bottle of liquor at the pad. Sip on it a little bit, and then you go in there, you buy maybe 1 or 2 drinks, stuff like that. But you're not losing your whole uh, paycheck. Trying to buy some liquor. But I used to listen to them. They'd be like, okay, look, who get drunk? No, I ain't getting drunk because I got to go to work tomorrow. I got to do this, that, and the third. Okay, well, I'll be the designated driver. I'll make sure that everybody's in place. Now, you also got to realize, yes, you got a plan, but you got to follow the plan. Now, you might say, well, Rich, hey, if I go there and I meet a fly honey, or from a female, I go there and I meet some nice looking dude, and we want to do our thing, and they say, okay, okay, but then you got to let this person know that you are here with people. And I would suggest introduce, let's just say women. If you meet a guy, introduce that guy to all of your girlfriends. Give Make that guy give one of your girlfriends his cell phone number. Where y'all going? And vice versa. If if you meet a female, introduce the female to the fellas. Where you going? Now see, let me tell you something. I'm from the old school. I don't go over no chick house. That's just me. I'm very, 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 it's not scared, but I'm very leery of people. I always think it's a setup. I always think it's the setup. I go there, somebody gonna jump out. Somebody gonna say I'm sleeping with their wife. The whole scam. Just that. I'm not. That's just not me. So if we don't go back to my crib, or in my younger days go to a hotel of my choosing, we just ain't gonna roll. That's just me. I'm just very overly cautious of that. But some people like, hey man, I don't want no restrictions on my life. Okay, that's cool. But I've gotten emails and tweets from people that be like, man, shoot, I just, one guy a couple of months ago, we was going back and forth on Twitter, and he was saying that, he got robbed. He he came to a club with his partners, met this girl. She said she was dope, and they was kicking it sort of fly, and they went back to a hotel, and when they went into the hotel, a couple of dudes in there snatched old boy in there, made him basically get out and run in his drawers. None of the fellas even knew that he had left with a chick. Nobody could identify the chick. Nobody had any information on the chick. Come on now. What makes you think about it now? How much effort is it for you if I meet me a fly honey and I'm in the club with two or three of my homeboys? What is what is the big deal of me taking her over to meet them and letting them know where we going? Now, again, like I said, they know where we go. But even if they can assume where I'm going, I'm like, yo, bruh, me and old girl getting out of here. We going here. So obviously, if you don't hear from me, you know where to start. And vice versa. Women, same thing. You meet a dude, hey, I need you to introduce, I need the, you don't even got to say, hey, I'm introducing you to them because I think you're a crackpot or not. I hope you don't think you're a crackpot, because if you think you're a crackpot and you still leave with him, there's a problem. But you can say, hey, let me introduce you this, and let me introduce you to my girlfriends and stuff like that, my sister, woo woo woo, this, that, and the third. So they'll know what's going on. And what that also will do is that I also will let them feel dude or feel old girl out. Because let me tell you something, if you got true friends, they gonna let you know. Even if they be like, hey, well, you grown, you gonna make your own decision. But they'll let you know if they feel somebody full of shit. Or somebody up to something. Or hell, you never know. This might be the first, maybe the second time you went to this club. Your boy, your partner, your girl, they go there all the time and they know this person, this man or this woman is full of shit to let you know. So again, have a plan. You have a plan, I'm telling you. You done you done knocked out 90 to 95% of the battle. It's over. Now, whatever happens, hey, it's fate. I'm sorry. You get clubs out the head or got robbed or whatever like that. I'm sorry. I can't, you know, nothing is absolute. But if you have a plan and you think things out, and it's like, look, this is what I'm doing, because I mean, come on now, the fellas we sit up there talk, when you trying to hunt them draws. I've always I don't hunt no more. I have no reason to hunt no more. But I know when I did. You knew what the deal was. You knew you was out there hunting. So you like, look, we riding, but hey, y'all need to make sure y'all got to ride, because if I meet a honey, we gone. But again, if I did meet that honey, if I got lucky, all the fellas gonna know her so they can pick her out of a photo line. In this case, I turn up missing. I've talked about the drink thing Wednesday when we was talking about the Stanford swimmer rape case. We was talking about drinks. I tell people all the time, tell women all the time, do not accept drinks from men or women. I ain't trying to discriminate. Do not I'm sorry, do not accept drinks from people who you don't know, that you didn't see prepared. And you might say, well, dang, Rich, if I'm in a club or I'm in a concert, how the hell I don't see this person, but if a waitress brings over a waitress or a waiter brings over a drink, nine out of 10 times they got the drink from the bar tender, and they brought it over to you and said, hey, ma'am, sir, so and so sent this over. If a man, or even the women, because they slick too, come over with a drink in their hand and slide it to you, if you drink it, you's a fool. You playing Russian roulette. If you drink it, you are a fool. And whatever happened to you, that's going to be your fault. You notice I didn't say you deserve it. That's going to be your fault. Like I said on Wednesday, hey, dude, I appreciate it, but I don't take drinks from strangers that I haven't seen being made. Now, if you want to buy me a drink right now and order it from dude while I'm sitting here, okay, because I'm saying, hey, sometimes, you'd be like, "Dad, you gotta look pretty good," or this female is tight and she bold. Okay, cool. So you might throw caution to the wind and then wind up drinking. They didn't stuck some Spanish fly or roofie or something like that, and you woke up and somebody laying up on top of you. I used to date this female, and she used to tell me about some of the stories where they would get drunk. Her and her girlfriend would get drunk and pass out, and then wake up, in the room with strangers, or they meet somebody and meet a couple of dudes or whatever, and they got a hotel room. It's spring break or Labor Day weekend or something like that, and then they wake up and they in the same bed. Now everybody fully clothed, but they in the same bed. I'm like, really? She used to tell me at first, she'd be like, "Well, I ain't worried about that. I can handle myself. I can get a guy. I can handle myself. I can get a guy off me." And I used to tell him, I said, "Let me tell you something. It literally doesn't make a difference how big a person is. It's how strong a person is, and it is how weak you are at that particular moment." And the worst thing, and I'm not a female, so I don't know, but I would think that the worst thing a female can wake up to is a man laying on top of her, inside of her, and she didn't give permission to. So I say, why would y'all get that drunk? Well, we were drinking, passing shots and all that. Why? You still can have fun. You still can do all of that. You just make sure that when you doing shots, I'll make the shots. If we drinking from my bottle, I'll make the shots. I'll pass them around. Or if we're gonna get shots, I'll order five. It's depending on how many cats at the table. I'll order that many shots and then have the waitress bring it over. But I'm not taking no drink. And I'm a man. I'm 6'3", 320, 312 pounds. I'm not taking no drink from nobody that just walk up and slide it to me. Or it just comes up and I'm like, okay, what bartender made it? Because I'm sitting at the bar and the bartender's right here. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. You got to watch that stuff. Think about it. Think about keep it in your excuse me. I'm sorry. Keep it in your mind, in your thoughts, that you want to go home tonight in one piece. We got this saying, I want to return home the same, if not better, than when I got here. But if you throw caution to the wind and don't follow your own principles or instincts, because see, I think I used the word principle. I think I used that wrong, because some people don't have principles. Okay, but if you, I keep saying this, I'm gonna keep saying, if you take a step back and think about it, your instincts, they right on point. They'll always be on point. So I just gave a few, um, put myself on blast, being the stupid person I was, and is. Everybody's gonna make mistakes. Continue sometime to find myself where I might leave something in my car and then leave and then go something visual, or I might grab me some bread and flash it around while I'm paying for something, not really noticing what I'm doing and noticing who's watching me. Because let me tell you something, somebody watching. I don't care what you do, somebody watching. So I hope that you just think about things and be safe. Have fun, live your life to the fullest. Have as much fun as you possibly can. be within the confines of the law. Okay. Um, but have as much fun as you can because life is too short. Life is too short, and it really would be horrible if your life is cut short by some fool that decided to take your life or take your property or take your body or all three, and there was something that you could have did to alleviate that long prior. You'll never see me talk, well, why didn't you fight back? You know, everybody reacts different in a crisis mode. Everybody. Some people are crisis kings, and some people will freeze. Some people will yell and scream. Why is it a lot of times when you see, and I know it's just movies, but movies is based on reality. When you see something going on, something hard, and you always got one person, male or female, screaming. What you screaming for? It's not to turn this person from killing everybody. It's not bringing anybody to you because you somewhere where there ain't nobody else. What you screaming for? So hey, I hope I answered. Um, I hope I answered your emails and um, parted on a little knowledge that you can think of, that you can think about and digest, and really just like I said, be careful, be careful, be blessed, have fun. I appreciate you. I'm gonna cut this show short today. Next show will be Wednesday at noon, same bat time, same bat channel. Big Rich here, live on the mic, radio show, YouTube. Have a good one. Peace.